Constraints. Constraints enforce limit to the data or type of data that can be inserted, updated, deleted from a table. The whole purpose of constraint is to maintain the data integrity during an update, delete, insert into the table. In this tutorial, we are going to learn several types of constraints that can be created in relational database management system. Now, the type of constraints that we have is not null, unique, default, check, key constraints, primary key, foreign key, domain constraints, mapping constraints. Now, talking about the constraints can be when we talk about the constraints, it refers to the restrictions. Now, let us have two different types of constraints so that we can understand it better. Now, talking about not null constraints make sure that a column does not hold the null value. Now, when we don't want to provide a value for a particular column while inserting a record into a table, it takes null value by default by specifying null constraint. So we can be sure that a particular column cannot have null value. So that is the restriction. Now in this what is happening when we create a table, you can see that if we are creating a table student, in this we have column int roll number not null. That means the value will not be inserted in the table if the roll number is not feeded. Student name varchar, that means even if the student name is not there, it is going to take the input. No, it is not going to take the input because again it is written over here not null. Now student age int not null, student address primary key roll number. So talking about the table, we will be discussing about the different keys in the table. When we creating a table, when we create this table, what is happening, you can see that creating a table student, in this there will be roll number, student name, student age, student address, and the primary key of the table will be the roll number. That means the roll number is the unique key which will be identifying the student in the table. That means student will be identified by his roll number. But when we feed the data, we should make sure that roll number cannot be null, student's name cannot be null, student's age cannot be null. Yes, in this table we can see the student address can be null. Now proceeding further, let us have a look to the unique. Unique constraint enforces a column or set of columns to have unique values. If a column has a unique constraint, it means that a particular column cannot have duplicate values in a table. Now in the above example, we have seen the primary key. Now the primary key, two, two rows cannot have the same roll number. That is also uniqueness. So hence we have chosen it as the primary key. So in the next part, we can see that this is the same example. In this we have given the roll number as the primary key. That means no two students can have the same roll number. Now talking about the default constraint provides a default value to a column where is no value provided while inserting a record into the table. Now let us have a look. When we create a table student, roll number not null, student name varchar not null, student age not null, exam fee int default 10,000. Now when if the data is not inserted, so 10,000 will be inserted in that. This is what we have written, exam fee not null. Student address can remain empty. Now if examination fees is empty, it will take the value of 10,000. Now proceeding further, let us have a look to the another constraint check. This constraint is used for specifying range of values for a particular column. Now when this constraint is being set on a column, it ensures that a specified column must have a value falling in the specified range. Now let us have a look to the another example in this. Now create table, in this roll number is there. Check roll number should not be greater than 1000. So when we create the table and when we insert the values in this, it is going to check that if the roll number is above 1000, it is not going to take the value inside it. This is what we have is create table student. Now in the above example, we have set the check constraint on roll number column of the student table. Now the roll number field must have the value greater than 1000. Yes, it is checking that. You can just have a look. It is checking that if the value is greater than 1000, then only it is going to take the value, otherwise it is not going to take the value. This is what it means, the constraint. Previously I was just a bit confused. Now you can see again in this that when we are inserting the value, it is going to check whether the roll number is greater than 1000, then it is going to be inserted, otherwise it is not going to be inserted. Now talking about the key constraints. Now primary key. The primary key uniquely identifies each record in the table and must have a unique values and cannot contain null. So in the below example, the roll number field is marked as the primary key. That means the roll number cannot have duplicate and cannot have the null value. Now let us talk about the foreign key. Now foreign key is a key which is common in in two tables, and it is, we can call it, it is a link between the two different tables. Suppose a table is student, another table is the faculty. So the two students can be related to each other. The two faculty, a student and a faculty, can be related to each other via subjects or via class. This is what is we are talking about the foreign key. Now domain constraints, each table has contains set of columns and each column allows the same type of data based on its data type. The column does not accept the values of any other data type. Domain constraints are user defined data type and we can define them like this. Now let us have a look to the domain constraint which we define when we are working with the foreign key. Now in this we have data type plus constraint. In this it can now defining the data type constraints in this, these are the things which we define. This is what we have used in our previous table creation. This is what it is telling. Now proceeding further, let us have to the mapping cardinality. Previously we have also seen the relationships one to many, one to one. That means an entity of entity set A can be associated with at most one entity of entity set. In this you can see in the ER diagram which we have already seen, you can see one to one relationship. One to one relationship, that means single person have, a person can only have one passport. One to many relationship, a person can order more than one orders. A college can have many students. This is many to one relationship. A student can be assigned, many students can be assigned to many projects. This is many to many relationship. This is what the constraints we are talking about. Now we can have these constraints in placing while creating tables in the database. Now you can see that when we are creating a table customer, this is going to create a table customer. In this we have customer ID, and customer ID is the primary key, not null. Many times what happens, the customer ID are also system generated and are auto incremented, which we are going to look later on while we are working with the SQL queries. Then first name varchar 20, last name. Then another table we have order ID, primary key, customer ID, int, customer details, varchar. Now you can see that in this we have set foreign key constraints a column with the foreign key that is known as the customer ID with the references with another database which is customer. So this is the table. In this table it will be related to this customer ID and then it is going to be inserted in this. This is how we set the different constraints in a database when we are working with the tables. When we work practically on the queries, then these things will be very much clear. In my separate tutorial, I have worked with my queries, where I have elaborated and explained and I have shown how these queries can be processed.